You're welcome. Hey guys, hey grade 8, good morning and welcome to today's session. Just gonna take a few seconds to for everyone to join. Meanwhile, this is our DLP for today, our daily language practice. Need you to correct the first sentence. Okay, sentence number 1. Need to write the sentence correctly. And this is the following sentence right here. Okay, since they couldn't find theirs, Simon and Jesse asked to borrow my video camera. So please start on working on editing the following sentence, and I will take attendance to see who is here. Okay, so please, meanwhile, work on your DLPs and your notebook so I can start calling for answers. You need to be ready with a response. Ali?
Yes.
Okay, Adam, Guaid?
Yes.
Okay, Ahmed Rashwan?
Yes.
Okay, Hassan? Okay, Hassan is absent. Mu'min? Okay, Mu'min is out. Noor Mahdi? Okay, so Hassan, Noor Mahdi, and Mu'min are not here. All right, Usama? 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 Okay, Usama's not here. Aisel? Aisel? Okay, Aisel's not here. Yusuf Al-Ghandour?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Fadia?
Yes.
Farah?
Yes.
Fatima?
Yes.
Habiba?
Yes.
Hala?
Yes.
Hannah Magdi?
Yes.
Hannah Hamdi?
Yes.
هنا درغام
Yes.
هنا وائل الحلو
Yes.
جنى
Yes.
جودي
Yes.
كنزي
Yes.
خديجة
Yes.
لجين أيمن
Here.
and لجين نعمان
Yes.
ملك ملك
Yes.
مايا
Yes.
نور نانو
Yes.
and ريم.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And this is okay. Okay, so now we're going to go to our DLP. So the people that are not here with me, the students that are absent, Hassan, Nur Mahdi, Mu'min, Osama, and Aisel. Okay. Now here, looking, I need volunteers to answer our first mistake. Okay, so let's see here. Luji, Lujain Ayman, please, honey, unmute yourself and tell me what is the first mistake that you see.
First one, we should capitalize the S in sense.
Good. So the S in sense should be capitalized because again it's the first word in the sentence. Thank you, Luji. Yusuf?
You're
Couldn't should have apostrophe.
They apostrophe. Okay. Okay.
Apostrophe, yes.
Right. So since it's okay. Perfect. Okay. Where do you put the apostrophe, Yusuf?
After the N.
Good job. Okay. Could N apostrophe T. And what do we call this? We call it a contraction, guys. Okay. It's a contraction for could not. Okay. Another mistake, please, Kinsey.
There's should not be apostrophe.
Good
before the
job.
S.
Right, because this one, there's no such thing, right? This is a possessive noun. Couldn't find. Okay, couldn't find theirs. There's no apostrophe. Thank you, Kenzie. All right, Maya.
Comma after theirs
Good job. Why do we need a comma after theirs, Maya? Why?
because the other sentence is like talking about something else.
Because it starts with a subordinate clause. Okay. Remember, this is that would be your correct justification to why you need a comma, because We agreed that if your subordinate clause that starts with a subordinate conjunction comes at the beginning of the sentence, you must have a comma after it. All right, so since they couldn't find theirs, comma, this is correct. So thank you, Maya. You can lower your hand. Hannah Hamdi.
The borrow should be with I think it should be with two R's.
Exactly, you need to expel borrow correctly. So Simon and Jesse. Good job. My video camera. Okay, perfect. All right, and this is it for our DLP. Okay. All right. So since they couldn't find theirs, Simon and Jesse asked to borrow my video camera. That this is fine. Okay. Let's move on to the next DLP. All right. And the next here it says in this is the verb in the sentence transitive or intransitive? All right. Is the sentence in this sentence transitive or intransitive? And let's hear first of all be reminded that the difference between transitive and intransitive again it means if your verb has a receiver. Okay. Let's not forget that. So if you have a receiver, I baked a cake. Cake is my receiver. What did I bake? I baked a cake. I have an object. I have a direct object. Then the verb is transitive. If I say I played outside, played is intransitive because we don't know what we played. We only know where we played, which is outside, which is an adverb. Okay, so number 4, Judy, please tell me if it is transitive or intransitive.
Intransitive.
It would be intransitive. So let's read the sentence. The dog was lying in the shade of a tall maple tree. Good job, Judy. The verb here is was lying. We don't know lying what, all right? Was lying. Was lying is an intransitive verb because here we have a prepositional phrase in the shade and then another prepositional phrase of all of a tall maple tree. So here this verb was lying is definitely you have a verb phrase and it is intransitive. Okay, intransitive. All right, write the simple predicate and the complete predicate in the sentence. All right, we want the complete predicate and the simple predicate. Thanks, Judy. Nano, please give me this complete predicate first.
Um, wouldn't take advantage of anyone.
Okay, good. Kind, honest, Douglas. This is the complete subject. So we said to make sure that we are here when we do so. Okay, we need to underline with. All right. So wouldn't take advantage of anyone is my complete predicate. All right. Give me the simple predicate, Nano, please.
Would take.
Good job. And I like how you said would. Okay, and take. Okay, you do not include the not. All right. I'm going to much rather just underline would and take. Remember the not and ot and the n apostrophe t is an adverb. We do not include it. Okay, so we excluded the not. Okay, we excluded the not. So it's would take. Okay, because not is an adverb. We should not include it in the verb. Okay. Thank you guys for today's DLP. You guys did a great job, and it's really okay. You guys are learning, not forgetting. The most important for me is thing here for me is that you're not forgetting. Okay. Any questions regarding our DLP? Any questions? Okay. So we're gonna
Thank you.
pause. We're gonna pause here. Thank you. And now we're going to pick up our reading of the Miracle Worker. Okay, we had I posted for you guys questions from the first discussion, and we answered some of them together verbally. And we reached the part where where Helen did something that was striking, and it caught the attention of her mom. Okay, can someone remind us what did Helen do? Helen Keller, what did Helen do that caught the attention of her mom's attention? Ali, please remind us.
Yes. Miss, can you repeat,
Can
please?
you please remind us how did we end on page number 257 when we stopped? What did Helen do that was striking, that grabbed the attention of Kate, her mother?
I think she took two buttons from from Aunt Eve's dress to make the eyes of her doll.
Exactly. Good job. Okay, we know that Aunt Eve was making a doll out of towels, and Helen was continuously studying the face, and she was able to make the conclusion that this face has no features, and that she kept continued to tap on the doll's face to grab the attention of the family, to show them that she recognizes that this face has no features, and no one understood her. So she took matters into her own hand, and she ripped two buttons from Aunt Eve's dress. Of course, Aunt Eve didn't realize what she was doing. She was a little startled by that, but we see that that she was doing it to have eyes on the doll. Okay, and we can see that the mom, right here, she wants another kind of silence now, while Kate takes pins and buttons from the sewing basket and attach them to the doll as eyes. All right, so Kate, she sees that her daughter wants eyes for the doll, so she attaches them to the doll's face. She sews them on. And watches morosely, and Eve blinks and conceals her emotion by inspecting her dress. All right, because it's ripped. Okay, so we're gonna pick up the reading, and what we're doing is I'm going to assign roles, and Eve is going to be Judy. Okay, Kate again is Kate is going to be let's go with Fatima. Okay, Kate, you're going to be Fatima. All right, Mr. James, Helen's half brother, is going to be Yusuf. Okay, you're gonna be James, the half brother. Keller, the father. Okay, Helen's father is going to be Adam, Adam Gwaid. Okay, and Aunt Eve already we have a role for her. Okay, so let's continue. Let's finish this page off and see where it will take us. Okay. All right. So let's start from Aunt Eve. Continue. Go ahead, Judy.
Okay. My goodness me, I'm not decent.
Okay, I'm not decent means that, the buttons ripped from her dress, so her skin is showing. All right, so this is what she means by she's not decent. All right, when she ripped her buttons, her skin or her body was revealing. Oh, so that's what she says. I'm not decent. Okay, she's covering herself, inspecting her dress. All right, Kate.
She doesn't know better, Aunt Eve. I will sew them on again.
Never, never learn with everyone letting her do anything. She takes it into her mind too.
You be quiet.
What did I say now?
You talk too much.
I was agreeing with you.
Whatever it was, deprived,
Deprived.
deprived child, the least she can have are the little things she wants.
Okay, so let's stop here. All right. So here we see that Helen did something a little as a child. Okay, let me get your opinion on this. If you have a child in your family, or a little younger baby, a younger brother or a younger sister, and she goes to your aunt's dress and rips buttons off her dress, how would your parents react to your sister and brother if they did such a thing? Okay, Fadia, can you tell us how would your mom or how would your parents react if you have a younger sister that did what Helen did by ripping out buttons from her aunt's dress? How would your parents react? Fadia, are you there? How about Hannah Hamdi? Can you please give me your Fadi, are you there?
Miss, do I answer?
Yes, please. How would your parents react
Yes.
to your if you have a younger sibling, which you do, all right? Imagine that your younger sibling ripped off buttons from your aunt's dress. How would your parents react to your sister to your younger sibling?
How if she had an excuse like she couldn't see she couldn't see and she would have an excuse. If she did it يعني, on purpose, then she would have يعني, taught her a lesson or like yelled at her.
So she would yell at her, right? She would reprimand her, and by reprimand we mean to get
Yes.
not necessarily to get beaten, but she would get some type of maybe a verbal warning or a verbal being scolded, or at least get scolded, right? So here we see that Kate is finding an excuse, okay,
Yes,
for
yes.
Helen, and she's saying, but she doesn't know better. And when she says she doesn't know better, what is she saying? What is she trying to? What is she doing with Helen? What is she doing with Helen? Is she going to? Does she plan on punishing her? Does Kate plan on punishing her, Nano? Can you please explain?
No, because
No.
she's not going to scold me
Why is
because
she not going to scold her? Why?
because she doesn't see nor hear.
Right.
But
Because what does it mean to she doesn't know better? She's trying to find justifications for Helen because of her mental capabilities, right? She's saying that Helen just doesn't because she doesn't. Yeah, exactly, because of her condition. All right. So we can see here that the Kellers, both parents, are struggling with Helen because they do not know how to discipline her. Okay, there's going to be a problem with discipline, and this is a problem uh, that Amy Salvian, the miracle worker, okay, is going to face with her because Helen has never been disciplined. No matter what she does, and no matter the extreme. Remember, guys, earlier, what did we see that she did with Mildred, her little sister, or the baby in the cradle? She flipped the cradle over and drops the baby. I don't think we saw that part yet. Maybe we did, but I think we're gonna see it. So we see that Helen's her reactions are blunt, and whatever comes to her mind, she does it without thinking. All right, and we see here James can says it. What does James say? He says she will never learn. Okay, that Helen is never going to learn what's right and what's wrong because everyone lets her do or get away with anything that she does that comes to her mind. Okay, so James here is saying is basically saying that Helen is going to continue acting this way and doing things that are inappropriate because no one ever tells her not to, or no one ever teaches her what's right and what's wrong. And we see here again Mr. Keller being very defensive. Okay, like Maya said earlier, I think of how he always shuts him down whenever he tries to speak. And whatever James is saying is actually, do you guys agree with James or disagree? Or do you agree with Kate and Mr. Keller that because of her condition, they should let her by and let her slide by everything that she does? What would you say? What is your opinion? What is your opinion? How about Lujay Nauman? What is your opinion? Lujay Nauman, what is your opinion regarding the question that I just asked? Yes, I cannot hear you. I'm gonna give you a chance to please fix your mic, and I'm going to take the question to Judy since we have a volunteer. Go ahead, Judy.
I would agree with James. I would agree with James because I know she cannot hear nor she can see, but she can also they could do something about it. If Mr. Keller went to a specialist or anything, but I would agree with James. Yeah.
Okay, so you do agree with James. You feel that there should be a way to discipline the child, all right, and that her condition or her blindness and her muteness and her deafness should not be it should not be the reason why they should let her get away with uh, things that are not shouldn't be done. All right, and here Mr. Keller says he tells James to shut up or to be quiet, and he says whatever it was, she's a deprived child. All right, so they view her and they're basically sympathizing with her. All right, they sympathize with her because they consider her a deprived child. And what does it mean to be deprived, Maya? What does it mean to be deprived, Maya? And how is she deprived? How is Helen a deprived child? What does deprived mean?
Like to have an inability to do something.
All right, so if I deprive you from money, that means I give you money or I stop giving you money.
Stop.
Exactly. So deprived means to not have something. If I'm going to deprive you from lunch, that means I'm not going to provide you with lunch. If I'm going to deprive you from a break, then I'm not going to give you a break. So why do you think Helen, why Maya, again, why does Mr. Keller refer to his daughter as a deprived child? Why?
Because she has something that stops her from being a normal child, so she is a deprived child.
Good. She's deprived from the privilege of seeing and hearing and speaking. Okay, so again, she's deprived from the privilege of being able or the capability of having the sense of sight and hearing and speaking. Okay, so this is why he considers her a deprived child, and he says that the least we could do is to make her have or give her what she wants. Okay, if she wants the buttons, go ahead and rip them out. If you want this, go ahead, snatch it. If you want the scissors, go ahead, take them. All right. So this is his mentality. So we know that here, Miss Kate describes her as a child that doesn't know any better. Again, hinting at her health condition. Mr. Keller calls her a deprived child. Again, excusing her and wanting to compensate that she's her illness with by providing her with everything that she wants. Okay, James, very wounded, stalks out of the room onto the porch. He remains here sulking. Aunt Eve indulgently, go ahead.
It's worth a couple of buttons. Kate, look.
Helen now has a doll with eyes and cannot contain herself for joy. She rocks the doll, pats it vigorously, and kisses it. Okay, so we see that Helen here is happy that the doll has finally has eyes, and this is what she wanted them to do from the first place. But no one seemed to understand her. All right, now Mom Kate sewed on the buttons onto the doll. Now the doll has eyes. Now Helen is happy. Okay, Aunt Eve, please continue. Aunt Eve.
The child has more sense than all these man colors. If there's ever any way to reach that mind of hers.
Good. So here Aunt Eve is admitting that Helen has a lot of sense. All right, and there's a lot in her mind. Unfortunately, they cannot find out what's in her mind because again, Helen cannot speak her mind. But Aunt Eve is recognizing abilities and capabilities and intelligence in Helen. But Helen suddenly has come upon the cradle. This is the part with the cradle with the baby, and hesitatingly overturns it. So she turns the cradle, and the baby, the swaddled baby, tumbles out. So the baby drops out from the cradle onto the floor, and Captain Keller barely manages to dive and catch it in time. All right, so the baby, she's about to do something very dangerous. Okay, she goes to the cradle, the baby's crib or the little baby bed, and she turns it over, and the baby falls out of it, and the Captain Keller, which is the father, tries to catch it in time. Okay, so again, we see her here acting out of control. All right, Mr. Keller.
Helen.
All are in commotion. Okay, commotion means noisy, disturbingness. The baby screams, but Helen, unperturbed, is laying her doll in its place. Kate on her knees pulls her hands off the cradle, wringing them. Helen is bewildered. All right, so why did Helen drop Mildred, the baby, out of the cradle? What was her intentions? What did she do? Why did she do that? Ahmed Ashwan. Why did Helen drop her baby sister from the cradle? Why did she overturn the cradle to drop off the baby from the cradle? Why? Why did she do this? What did she want to do? Ahmed Rashwan. Ahmed Rashwan. Ahmed Rashwan, can you hear us? Okay, we cannot hear you. Let's go with who and do I have any volunteers? Can you please answer the question, Ahmed? We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. Okay, Reem, please, honey, give me the answer.
I think she thought يعني it's like a doll. She wants to play with it.
She didn't drop the baby because she thought the baby was a doll. She dropped it for another purpose. What was it, Yusuf?
maybe she wanted to, يعني the doll to يعني to put the doll in the يعني
Exactly. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. All right. She wanted to remove Mildred from the cradle so that she could put her doll inside the cradle. Because remember, she's playing with the doll. She's happy with the doll. She's kissing the doll, and she's happy that the doll has eyes, and she wants to treat the doll like a baby. So she wants to get rid of Mildred from the cradle, and she does it in such a way of aggressive way that she dumps the baby out of the cradle, and she replaces her doll with it, with Mildred, with the child.
I have a question.
Yes?
Oh,
Yes?
هو did the baby did Helen يعني Helen هي اللي threw the baby right?
She didn't throw, she turned the cradle over. A cradle is a rocking bed. It's kind of like a rocking chair. It can move back and forth. So what Helen did is that she turned the cradle over. The baby tumbled and fell out of the cradle, but Captain Keller was able to catch the baby in time. That was Helen's doing. And why was she doing this? Why did she want the Mildred out of the cradle? Because she wanted to substitute Mildred with her own doll that she was playing with, the one that she was kissing and playing with, the one that she needed eyes for. Okay?
I thought Helen هي اللي fell.
No. Helen did this to her sister. Remember earlier when Mr. Keller was speaking, he says some attention needs to be given to Mildred. Okay, Mildred, we need to pay attention to Mildred instead. Okay, and she says, shh, you'll wake her up, Captain. And I told you that Mildred is the second child, the second child between Kate and Keller. So Kate and Keller together have two children. They have Helen and they have Mildred. Mildred is a baby in a cradle. All right, and I told you here, this is the part where Helen acts out of control and drops the baby out of the cradle. Okay, she drops the baby out of the cradle because she wants to substitute to her doll in the cradle. Okay, Kate, continue.
Helen, you're not to do such
Okay,
thing.
you're
How can
angry.
I
You're
make
an
you
angry mom right now because your baby was just about to fall from the bed. Okay, please read with emotion, guys. Don't make this boring. Okay, imagine you're a mother and your child was about to fall out of the crib and serious damage was going to happen. And you're frustrated, Kate. So, Helen, okay, please talk with emotion. Go ahead again, try again.
Helen, you're not to do such thing. How can I make you understand?
Okay, hoarsely, Keller.
Kate,
How can I get it in your head, my darling, my poor?
Katie, some way of teaching her iota of discipline has to be.
Flaring.
How can I discipline an afflicted child? Is it her fault?
Remember, afflicted means a sick child. All right, so now we see that Kate and Keller are going into the discussion of discipline. All right, and discipline means that you sometimes have to act tough or to show a child some roughness. Okay, sometimes some form of punishment and it doesn't have to be physical punishment. It could be any way of punishment to show them that whatever they're doing is wrong and that they're gonna get penalized for it. Okay, so here Katie is frustrated. She doesn't know how to make her daughter understand or how to get it into her head. And Keller here says, we need to discipline her, some way of teaching her an iota. Iota is a very small portion of discipline has to be. And Kate says, how can we discipline an afflicted child, a sick, ill child? Is it her fault? All right, Helen's fingers have fluttered to her mother's lips, vainly trying to comprehend their movements. So again, we see Helen is touching her mom's lips, doing the same thing that she did with Percy and Martha in the beginning of the play. Mr. Keller? Mr. Keller?
I didn't say it was her fault.
Then whose? I don't know what to do. How can I teach her? Beat her until she is black and blue?
All right, so Kate is saying, do I have to beat her until she's black and blue? Okay, like bruises all over her. Keller?
It's not safe to let her run around loose. Now there must be a way of
Confining.
confining her somehow so she can.
Okay, so
Where,
Mr.
Anna
Keller
Kate?
does not want he wants to put limitations on where Helen can be. All right, he wants to set limits to where Helen should be allowed to go and where she should be, and he wants to confine her. Confine her means to set a space for her. Okay, that she maybe like put her in a little area, a restricted area where she could be. All right, so Kate is being sarcastic. Okay, Kate, continue. Where?
Where in a cage? She is a grown child. She has to use her limbs.
Okay, that means she has to walk. Okay, Keller?
Answer me one thing, is it fair to Mildred here?
Are you willing to put her away?
Now Helen's face darkens in the same rage as at herself earlier, and her hand strikes at Kate's lips. Kate catches her hand again, and Helen begins to kick, struggle, and twist. Keller?
Now what?
She wants to talk, be like you and me.
Okay, so again, every time Helen puts her hands on someone's lips and she feels the movement and she detects that they're speaking and she realizes that she can't speak or can't act like them or can't copy their lip movement and the act of talking, she gets very angry and she starts to lose control. She starts to, kick and struggle and twist. This is called a tantrum. Okay, this is called a tantrum. She throws a tantrum, and this tantrum is showing how frustrated she is because she cannot simply be a normal child. She cannot do what everyone around her seems to be doing. Okay, and she detects it. She detects it by placing her hand on their lips. Okay, and she detects this movement. Okay, so here we see that Keller and Kate are getting into that. She holds Helen, struggling until we hear from the child her first sound so far, and an articulate weird noise in her throat, such as an animal in a trap might make. So this is the first time Helen makes a sound, and it's a sound that's inarticulate. That means you cannot really make out what the sound is. Okay, it's they describe it as a sound that an animal would make, a trapped animal would make. And Kate releases her. The second she's free, Helen blunders away, okay, collides violently with a chair, falls and sits weeping. Okay, remember she cannot see, so as soon as she runs from her mother's embrace, she bumps into a chair and she falls on the ground, crying violently and weeping. Okay, crying, deep crying. Kate comes to her, embraces her, caresses her, soothes her, and buries her own face in her hair until she can control her voice. Okay, go ahead, Kate.
Every day she slips farther away, and I don't know how to call her back.
Okay, so here, mom, Kate, Helen's mom, recognizes that Helen's situation is worsening day by day, things are becoming worse for her, and she feels bad that she's losing her child. And Eve, continue.
I've sorry, I've a mind to take her up to Baltimore myself. If that doctor can't help her, maybe he'll know who can.
Okay, so again, remember, this is again Dr. Chisholm. Aunt Eve is still insistent, that they should contact the oculist, okay, the eye specialist in Baltimore. And we know that Mr. Keller, how does Mr. Keller feel about contacting him? How does he feel? Hala, please, Mr. Keller, Helen's father, how does he feel about contacting the doctor in Baltimore? Hala, are you there?
بس حلقة تقريبا doesn't have a mic تقريبا.
She said here in the attendance earlier on today.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Did she? I think, yeah, she did. Thank you, Yusuf.
Sometimes her mic doesn't work, so I don't know any. Maybe her mic it's ruined.
All right, Hannah Hamdi, can you please answer the question for us, honey? How does Mr. Keller feel about taking Helen, his daughter, to the doctor in Baltimore?
I think he's like he's I don't know how to say it. He tries to get the like he doesn't want to. I think because
Okay.
he doesn't have hope and he doesn't have hope anymore.
Exactly. All right, good, perfect. All right, so he refuses to contact the doctor or write to the doctor or visit the doctor because he has lost hope. He feels that they have been to several specialists and they all have told him that there's nothing that can be done for Helen and that Helen, her condition is deteriorating and there's no improvement. And he is tired of getting his heart broken and his hopes shattered. Okay, so he refuses to contact them. Aunt Eve here, we see that she first says that she believes that Helen has a lot of sense, that she wishes that they could know what's going on in her mind. And now she says that she wishes that she could take Helen to Baltimore herself. And if the doctor can't help her, maybe that he has a suggestion of someone who can. Okay, Keller, Mr. Keller, presently heavily.
I'll write the man Katie.
Okay, so here we see, does he have a change of heart? Did he now? Did he change his mind? Maya, did Mr. Keller change his mind about contacting the doctor? Maya,
No, he didn't. He didn't change his. Yeah, and he's still hopeless.
are you sure? Keller, Adam, can you please read the last line that you just read?
What he changed it, yeah, miss. Yeah, I'll write the man Katie.
Exactly. All right, he just said, I'll write the man Katie. Guys, please read it. Pay attention while we're reading. Okay, we're
But he
reading
will
before. Say that again.
go to the. He will write to him or like go to him.
Yes, he agrees now to send him a letter explaining Helen's condition. All right. Mr. Keller stands with the baby in his clasp, staring at Helen's head, hanging down on Kate's arm. The lights dim out except the one on Kate and Helen. In the twilight, James and Eve and Keller move off slowly, formally, in separate directions. Kate, with Helen in her arms, remains motionless in an image which overlaps into the next scene and fades only when it is well underway. Without pause, from the dark down left, we hear a man's voice with a Greek accent speaking. All right, so we're gonna pause here, and we're gonna pick up the part with Anagnis. Tomorrow, inshallah, we're gonna do novel study. It's Wednesday and Thursday's off, so we're gonna pick up here on Sunday. Okay, this part here on Sunday, inshallah, page 259. All right, where Anagnis starts. Okay, so the session has less than a minute. Next session is going to be grammar. We're going to pick up adverb phrases, and we're going to discuss the participial. So please have your grammar books ready and your workbook until we join back again exactly at 11:20. Okay, guys. So have your grammar stuff ready until then. And thank you for those who read today and those who participated in this session. Thank you. And I'll see you guys in a bit, in a few seconds, inshallah. Take care.